I have to say, I was expecting, with me putting Brandon Discourse in the title, that we were, unless did my Twitch stream revert the title when the thing dropped? Or does it still say
It
Rebel
looks
Friday?
right.
Sure. No, it still says Brandon Discourse.
Okay, yeah. I was expecting to get people saying, let's go, Brandon. Like, like the fascists have been showing up all week. This has been a relatively tame chat in terms of the number of fascists. In fact, no fascists
It's kind
have
of
shown up.
disappointing.
Yeah.
It's a quiet night.
There's been no chippies,
Aww.
But I was expecting some let's go Brandons in the chat. We're not getting that, so that's fine. Maybe they thought you were referring to Brandon Manitoba. Well, guess what? We are in fact referring to Brandon Manitoba.
Oh no!
David Menzies decided to. Well, I don't even know what was the point of this piece. We're gonna watch it. David Menzies, I think, thought he was being clever, and so wanted to relate something to do with "Let's Go Brandon" with Brandon Manitoba. So here we go.
Let's go, Brandon Manitoba.
Say, what's not to love about the "Let's Go Brandon" phenomenon? In case anyone is unaware of the origin of "Let's Go Brandon," its genesis is traced back to a...
Come on.
I love, like...
Do it, Menzies. Do it.
There's an element here in which I feel like, given the right wing, he does not need to explain this meme to his audience.
No, you shouldn't have to. This is like, you're explaining a joke.
Who the fuck is Brandon? I have not heard anything about politics in the last couple of weeks. David Menzies is about to explain the Let's Go Brandon meme to you.
He explained it just for our chatter.
Yeah. So there you go.
Back to a NASCAR event last month, chants of F Joe Biden were reverberating from the stands of the Talladega Superspeedway as reporter Kelly Stavist interviewed driver Brandon Brown. Stavist then somehow incorrectly described F Joe Biden as "Let's Go Brandon." Now, how could this trained broadcast professional make such a mistake?
The funny thing is, he says, how can this trained professional make such a mistake? This is the first time that I've heard the chant. And there was a moment where it was like, I could hear "Let's Go Brandon" there. It's not too far removed from the truth. Or not truth, but like, it's like backmasking. Like, I can imagine her barely paying attention and thinking they said "Let's Go Brandon."
Really? Yeah. I don't think it was a mistake at all. I think she was just trying to cover the fact that they broadcast "Fuck Joe Biden" like in the moment. Like, maybe
that's fair too. Yeah,
that's possible. And I'm not saying that isn't what happened. It's just like there was a moment I was doing something else while like listening to this, and when I heard the chant, I was like, I don't know, I could make it a "Let's Go Brandon."
I think this is like a golden blue dress thing.
Yeah. So let's hear this.
Chants from the crowd. "Let's go, Brandon. Brandon, you told me you were gonna kind of hang for..."
Yeah, I can see it.
Like especially there, like it's so soft that like all you're getting is the
like your brain's kind of filling in the gaps if you're not paying attention fully, or if you can't fully hear it well.
And so that's what, like, it's possible. Although, like, again, it could be that she is covering it up.
Brandon, you told me you were gonna kind of hang.
For starters, nobody, as in nobody in the
body.
Oh my!
Oh my god!
Yeah, why would you do that?
Oh god!
Why would
These
you
old references? I love them, but like I hate them.
And why would you do it like this? You had like For those of you who aren't old, they're used to, I don't even know. Does the Nobody guy still do
Bad Boy?
Bad Boy, yeah.
Yep, but
who's better than Bad Boy?
Nobody.
But does he still do commercials anymore, or is that like done?
It's been a while since I watched.
I haven't had cable in like 10 years, so I don't even know what commercials there are.
I know. I mean, but again, like, why the reference was so like unnecessary there too.
Starters,
not even that too. It's like that clip. Like that's a pretty old clip too.
Yeah.
Like that's not. Like there's newer commercials. I know that. But yeah.
Now I see a bastard son resemblance between Mel Lastman and the Menzoid. Watch that actually was like David in his younger years.
Oh god.
No. Mel Lastman is too much. Or isn't Mel Lastman the mayor of Toronto?
It was mayor, yeah.
Oh yeah, because he owns one of the stores. Yeah. Jesus Christ. But is that Lastman's son? Now I don't even know. Now there's lore to this that I was unaware of. I do remember because Mel Lastman used to be in some of the commercials, didn't he? God, that's going back. Anyways, let's go, Brandon.
In the stands was chanting, "Let's go, Brandon," and nobody was hearing "Let's go, Brandon" either. Rather, the Talladega attendees.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can do it, Biden. You got it.
Know what they think of him, quite profane fashion. Oh, God bless the First Amendment. The other reason I love "Let's Go, Brandon" is that it.
So David Menzies doesn't swear in his segments. I've never heard him. I mean, we've watched him talk about the toilets and crapping, and he had to like self-censor. So I don't think we're gonna get a "fuck Joe Biden" here, but there you go.
Crap was like the closest he got to vulgarity.
Old man fall. Yeah, no, I do love that clip of Biden. He's like, I can imagine. I've had moments like that too, where like my foot falls asleep, so I feel bad for him. I can relate to that experience. But like, you know what, Muta? Him not falling over the rail is clear that he still has some dexterity and strength, you know?
He still got it.
Yeah. Mel Lastman ran the chain originally, then became mayor of North York, then Toronto mayor after amalgamation. Interesting. There you go. Bad boy lore.
Illustrates yet again how the fake news media spins things in a way to protect Sleepy Joe. I mean,
oh my
how
God.
in the world does
you're gonna go off on spinning?
I mean, like, let's somehow a sports reporter hearing "Let's Go, Brandon" is the fake news media covering from Joe Biden. Has nothing to do with the fact that maybe they don't want to air F-bombs and want to like obfuscate that or make a mistake. It has to be a purposeful, intentional act of covering up for Joe Biden.
Well, it's like that's the thing too. Is like the misidentifying what they said is like that's an honest mistake, and then on the case of like what you said of like them trying to like obfuscate or like trying to like not explicitly like put F bombs in the feed, it's like it's not necessarily like conniving or anything like that, but like it's kind of like a convenient like censorship type of thing where they're trying to work with what they got instead of like cutting the feed.
Yeah. BRB gonna get this person their pizza? I wish I had pizza tonight. I was thinking I was gonna get pizza tonight, and then it ended up being hamburgers, which were okay. It was a veggie burger, but like pizza would have been better. Because my son got vaccinated tonight, we gave him the choice to select the food option. So
I picked up stuff for homemade pizza tonight. I'm gonna make it tomorrow, and I'm already excited.
Well, that's what I found out. Is he initially chose pizza because he's my son and he knows what's the best food option? But then my wife said that we were planning on making homemade pizzas tomorrow, so we did not order pizza tonight. See, I might have even been okay with ordering the pizza tonight and then having homemade pizza tomorrow. All pizza 24/7. Never stop.
You're basically just a Ninja Turtle.
Yes, 100%. I had a burrito because I did a first week of a big boy computer job and didn't cry one time. Nice. So you're giving yourself a treat, much like we treated our son after the shot. And he also did not cry one time.
Joe Biden become Let's Go, Brandon. Everyone in the world knows what the fans were chanting that day, but those lying liars in the mainstream
lying
liars.
Yeah.
In that regard, it reminds me of how Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau dropped an F-bomb in the House of Commons back in 1971.
My God.
Relevant.
Why?
Totally. Like, holy gee, like all of his references are like 30 plus years usually. Like, come on, dude.
But you know he wants to make this reference because it's Pierre Trudeau. There's no other reason to go back here other than to be like, and this is the other guy I hate's dad. Also,
oh yeah, I know.
But no, that's Castro.
fair, sorry. I mean, he also hates Castro too. But This is. Let's just play out this example. This example doesn't even make any fucking sense, but here we go.
He mouthed two words, the first word of which started with F and the second word of which started with O. And he said it twice to John Lundgren, the member from Gander-Twilligat, and he also said the same thing to me.
Which was an especially outrageous
So Pierre Trudeau apparently told this guy to fuck off. Why not?
thing to do for a PM, especially in that era. Yet, when asked about it, Papa Trudeau claimed he said fuddle-duddle.
Well, it's a lie because I didn't say anything.
Did you mouth it?
What does mouth mean?
Move your lips.
Yes, I move my lips.
In the words you've been quoted as saying?
No.
Did you intend to give what were you thinking when you moved your lips?
What is the nature of your thoughts, gentlemen, when you say fuddle-duddle or something like that? God, you.
Yeah.
That was a weak response. You should have said, "Fuck your tone policing."
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would have been better.
Like,
Cancel culture.
What do you think I meant when I told him to fuck off? That would have been a way better response. True. This is the lamest fucking historical controversy, considering the way history books glorify his enacting the War Measures Act. Yeah, I know.
Oh jeez, yeah.
Listen, what we have is enacting the War Measures Act, but he once told a person to fuck off and then covered it up by saying fuddle-duddle. And this is the equivalent of fuck Joe Biden?
Oh my god.
This is somehow these two stories relate. I can't figure it out, but somehow they relate. I guess because in one, I mean,
F-bombs.
A better analogy would be if the crowd said afterwards that they weren't chanting fuck Joe Biden, that they were really saying fuddle-duddle. That would have been a better analogy, but sure. These things both happened. They did. Oh my god.
Fuddle-duddle? What the hell
Fuddle-duddle.
is fuddle-duddle anyway? That's not even a real word, folks.
Menzies, you're
So it
old
is
enough
when
to know
it
what this
comes-
means.
It's not a real word though. Only real words can be uttered. None of these made up words like fuddle-duddle.
Kids these days don't say fuddle-duddle.
Oh, poppycocky. Can't believe he used the H word.
Language revisionism, we have more from fuddle-duddle to let's go, Brandon. Fascinating. Still, I wonder if those very same NASCAR fans had been chanting F Donald Trump, would the mainstream media sanitize that phrase for our collective protection? No.
Hell yeah. The mainstream media will be saying that was the moment Trump became presidential. When the crowd started chanting fuck Donald Trump, that was when he finally became president.
Great point, Grimpy.
It's like, when did sports like newscasts become like the quote unquote mainstream media? Like,
yeah, I know. No, they are. And
well, I mean,
she's so plugged in.
Aspect, yes.
No, she's so plugged into the mainstream media that she also knew how to immediately on a dime buy into the narrative and turn it around to make it pro Biden. You know what I mean?
Jeez.
She knew. She could think on her toes.
No, I think those journalistic jabronis would surely move into the
Jabroni? Oh my god!
To know mode on that.
Pretty modern term.
But I was thinking the other
journalistic jabronis. Oh my fucking god!
I never thought I would hear him say that.
Well, I think he says again. His other famous line that he loves to throw around is "rodent's rectum." So when I say that he doesn't like to swear, I think that's supposed to be rat's ass, but he does rodent's rectum all the time, every single fucking.
I mean, it's got its own little
it was
rhythm to it.
Yeah, but it was cute the first time I heard it, but then it's like when he says rodent's rectum all the time.
No, yeah, fair.
Yeah, weird champ.
Going to call myself a journalistic Gibraltar. Jabroni. Voice to text, fuck me. Oh my god.
Today, now that Let's Go Brandon has entered the popular culture lexicon, how does one monetize it? Well, actually, some people already have.
Like Rebel News.
You have a Rebel, yeah.
Billboard Hot 100 featured not one, but 2 songs titled Let's Go Brandon in its top 40 chart. Ka-ching! But you know who else could monetize this phrase, folks?
Ka-ching.
A certain
Yeah,
city
ka-ching.
in Manitoba. Yes, I speak of Brandon, Manitoba. Indeed, the stars
is
are
such an awkward
starting to
tie-in.
align.
Again, there's so many things happening in the world, and yet this is David Menzies wants to do a segment of like, you know, that popular slogan that we at Rebel News even put on a t-shirt, so we're cashing in on it. How about we make a 7-minute long segment on our YouTube channel making the joke that there's also a Brandon, Manitoba? Huh?
Cutting edge journalism.
Huh? Isn't that a connection? The 2 words are the same. two words are the same. That's
Can I
hilarious.
just like hire? If I could just hire a Brandon, they could just just do that for a week and close up shop. Because
yeah, that's what Eric
please
said.
do
They
that.
should just go interview a guy named Brandon.
Yeah.
Oh my god. The only thing I know jabroni from is actually from wrestling. Wasn't that something like The Rock said? Yeah.
The Rock. I used to have a yo-yo that had Rock quotes.
Oh
And
my
it would
god!
say,
I
"What
want
are you
it.
looking at, jabroni?" or something
my
like
God,
that. I forget.
Yeah, I was never like a huge fan of wrestling, but one of my buddies growing up loved The Rock.
So really, really quick sidebar. My neighbor across the hall had a little nephew that was born, and he got him this onesie, but then he grew out of it, and it has Macho Man Randy Savage on it, and it says, "Oh yeah." And then when our son was just born, he gave it to us, and then the same day, my father-in-law was looking up, "Oh, what famous people does your son share a birthday with?" And he shares a birthday with fucking Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh my god!
Amazing.
Perfect.
Incredible.
You know what famous person I share a birthday with?
Who's that?
Richard Dawkins.
Oh dear.
I mean, I also share a birthday with the day that the Heaven's Gate cult committed suicide. So that's fun.
Eesh.
Yeah. And yes, I mean, the funny thing is, I only mention this because Richard Dawkins has been like trending lately with his transphobia takes. But like his earlier work was very influential to me. I really loved his earlier work. It's sad the turn he has made. Richard Dawkins makes me want to be religious. I mean, and I'm talking about his evolution work. His anti-religion work was left some to be desired. But yeah, I don't even know. Like, even if you go back to his earliest works, it was never. There was even like moments of like feminism in them, in him trying to like appreciate like using pronouns that are non-gender specific when referring to like a universal he, stuff like this. So for him to come out of that to then be the whatever the fuck he is right now is rather depressing.
Yeah, it's kind of weird for like someone in his field to go from like there's different stuff in biology and like nature and all that, and then take this kind of hard pivot on this topic was just
Well, I mean, the funny thing is his like, I mean, especially if you read his book, The Extended Phenotype, which is about how like there are no firm biological lines. Like that has been like the whole philosophical, like his earlier work was so philosophical. The Extended Phenotype, I recommend it. Like part of his argument is that, for example, like when you think of say beavers, you think of them purely being like their biological matter as an extension of their genes that make up their biological matter. But he's like, but those genes correspond to the beavers creating beaver dams. So in a sense, the beaver dams are also a part of, or at least an extension of the beaver. It's a phenotypical effect, but also it becomes a beaver dam, not just a beaver.
it's kind of like what their genetics are, and also their genetics play out into nature itself.
Yeah, and so like he played with these categorization schemes and blurred these lines and distinctions. And then all of a sudden, when it comes to this nowadays, all of a sudden it's like women are women and like trans people are being too loud and noisy. Whatever, bud.
Yeah.
Die already.
Yeah.
You're almost there. You got to be like in your 80s or 90s now. Anyways, moving on. Let's hear where Menzies wanted to go with Brandon here.
Let's go, Brandon, Manitoba.
For this prairie town, in terms of making use of this phrase, just string together a litany of "Let's Go Brandon" recitals plucked from the internet. True, Brandon already has a tourism phrase, namely,
Brandon brings you back.
I don't know, the alliteration is there, but the message, it kind of hints at zombieism to me. But think of the energy Brandon could harness
oh my God.
with our rapid fire litany.
The fact they even have like a
of
tourism
diverse
stuff
individuals.
thing is like, wow, okay.
They need to have a tourism thing because that's all they have. All Brandon has to offer.
God.
What was it again? It was something like Brandon back or bring back to Brandon.
Brandon brings you back?
Oh, Brandon brings you back. So Brandon is so
Or
good. It brings
I
you
might be
back.
misremembering it, but yeah.
No, I think that's it. Which, if anything, that is a kind of clever name. Like, why not? It's cutesy.
Yeah,
Brandon,
it's quaint.
It brings you back.
Chanting and even singing "Let's Go Brandon" as images of that city's tourist attractions, whatever those may be, fill the screen.
Okay, that's kind of insulting. Holy shit, I would be pissed at this guy.
No, he's clearly insulting them. Like Brandon, like Brandon brings you back, but there's nothing to fucking go to.
Oh my, yeah, that's just rude. Come on.
Oh yeah, it gets better.
Oh, this is even more insulting. Holy fuck.
Oh, 2 thumbs up. And so it was that I reached out to Brandon's mayor.
Actually, it was so.
Holy fuck, this is insulting. I feel bad for the people who came to the house. Holy shit.
Part of me actually thought that was the clever mashup. I'll just can't be making the Rebel money. I mean the mashup was silly, so like whatever, I'll take it. But
yeah,
he reached out to the mayor.
Oh my God!
For
no.
what?
No.
Like we're gonna get to it, but like, was he bored? It was like he was bored. He came up with a joke and was like, you know what? I'm gonna message the mayor.
The mayor
Brandon.
needs to hear that.
Yeah, we need to go deeper. We need to like investigate this more. We need to see what the mayor of this town thinks about what we just did here.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! This is embarrassingly sad.
Nam says, I think Brandon is the 3rd largest town in Manitoba and is a university military town with a giant meatpacking plant. Woo!
Cool. Yeah, I mean,
Let's
okay.
go,
It's not the worst
Brandon.
thing to have.
The funny thing is, this is 2 Manitoba stories in a row. I forgot the human rights thing was in Manitoba as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, they don't really have a lot to offer in Manitoba.
Sorry,
I've become
Manitobans.
I mean, I'm sure the Manitobans themselves are fine. Just I've even people who come from Manitoba never said a good thing about Winnipeg. I've never heard it. It's super funny, but like they spent a decent amount of money trying to go viral with this. Who like the Brandon?
The town?
Like Brandon Tourism.
What? Oh no, please no.
Trying to go viral with Let's Go Brandon? Or is it like the Brandon brings you back stuff that they spent a lot of money on? Because that kind of makes sense to me.
Oh yeah, I would
That's
believe
like
that. Yeah.
I love like all the towns. No, Rebel? I'm lost, Derek. Maybe type a little more. Explain the. Oh, with this video segment. Oh, okay. The jingle things also remind me of there was, I think it's Hamilton. Hamilton. They had a fucking. They call themselves the City of Waterfalls. Okay, and so they have a theme song which is like Hamilton, City of Waterfalls. It's like jingle, and like part of it is you're like, Hamilton's the City of Waterfalls, and apparently
I did not know this.
The funniest thing is that jingle is still better than the entire musical Hamilton.
True, but like I probably sang the jingle wrong. It's been like forever since I've heard it, but the funny thing is they are technically like they have like the most waterfalls per like city, but
They're awesome.
they're really really small waterfalls that like no one really cares.
I was gonna say it's like my area's got like a lot of like lakes and like streams and like rapids and stuff. Like, does that count for like a waterfall? I wonder.
Oh, I want it. There's so many videos here. I was hoping that I would get one with like an actual clip of the music, but I don't think we're gonna get it. Maybe if I'll click a few, see if they don't.
Hello, I'm Rochelle, and this
We're going down the rapid waterfalls of
Of
this rabbit
Hamilton,
hole.
Ontario. I mean, the one thing it has
did
is
you know
no, they're just people talking about that. They're the city of waterfalls. Maybe this one. Oh, is this the song?
Oh,
No, this can't be. This is gonna be someone else's song. Yeah, no, this is someone just doing a travel blog thing. But yeah, apparently they are the city of waterfalls, and as you can tell, they're like really tiny little waterfalls.
okay, yeah. I mean, they're not bad.
I don't know. I need to stand up for the waterfalls. I mean, maybe I haven't seen ones actually in Hamilton, but I've been to like hiked around, or not hiked, but like gone to see a bunch that are like near Ancaster and stuff like that, and it's pretty nice.
Well,
There's a
Ancaster has
couple you
them.
can
Yeah.
stand under and like climb up and stuff, and yeah.
No, we showed a clip of when I was in a band called Monster Fever, and one of our clips was filmed just outside of Ancaster where there was a waterfall. They're on the escarpment. They've got some elevation. There's some areas where waterfalls can occur, It's just I think if you ask people what is Hamilton most known for, they wouldn't say they're the
Steel.
city of waterfalls. So that tourism campaign did not succeed, And the only reason I know about it is because my friend who was in Monster Fever, he worked for a television, like he still works in TV, and he had to produce one of the tourism videos for Hamilton, about the branding with the city of waterfalls, and that's how I know about it. You've been to some boring dates at the waterfalls? Okay, people like the waterfalls in Hamilton. I'm sorry, they don't. If you want a good waterfall, there's one at Niagara Falls, a few hours away. You can check. That's a fucking waterfall, okay? I don't.
Sure,
If I want to see,
anyone can compete with that.
if I want to see water trickling down a rock cascade, I could. There's some here too. I don't need to go to the city where there might be just more of them that I could see.
I can see this really big one.
Oh my god! All right, so let's hear David Menzies contacting the mayor of Brandon, Manitoba.
Oh my god,
Trust.
no.
I said to His Honor, what about tapping into this global phenomenon? So in a way to promote his city, well, here's the mayor's response, quote.
It wasn't just a no comment, so here's the fucking
response.
response.
Oh no.
Okay. Now, we oddly enough did not get what exactly Menzies' statement was, but
that would have been helpful.
Thanks for your note. I did have a Winnipeg radio station have some fun with that as well. That said, that while we have a sense of humor here in Brandon and we are always happy to receive any additional attention we can get for our community, we've decided we won't get too involved in this particular Let's Go Brandon phenomenon. Knowing the backstory, we know it may put us in the middle of partisan American politics. And of course, the phrase is a less savory code comment for the US president. We don't feel it appropriate to get our community in the middle of partisan U.S. politics. So
oh my God, this
just
is like
take
such a
pass
neutral.
on engaging
It's actually
in this
it's a
one.
very
While the
thoughtful,
slogan
concise
sounds catchy,
statement.
Oh yeah,
we do have our
too, for sure.
own slogan. We support Brandon brings you back.
now, while I agree with you, I agree sort of it is somewhat neutral. You're trying to avoid it, and I agree with Muta that it's like, yeah, but it's concise and explains why we wouldn't use this as a slogan for our city. It's also like, I'm surprised the mayor even decided to respond to David
Yeah, like this took a couple minutes of like, okay, we gotta work this out, and okay, here you go, send.
I mean, yeah, as Eric said, interesting spelling from the mayor there. There was a typo, at least one that was
Probably,
glaring to
yeah.
me. But didn't want to spend too much time on busting out this email to David Menzies. Didn't even proofread it. Was just like, fuck it, here you go.
Here you go, yeah, bye.
Oh my god.
End quote. You know, folks, Mayor Tress strikes me as a really nice
Savory.
guy, befitting of someone who lives in friendly Manitoba. And granted, he makes some fair points, but judging by recent polls, an overwhelming majority of Americans would indeed justifiably.
I will say, it's also possible, quite possible, Eric, that the typos were the fault of the editor or David Menzies, considering we did not see the message itself. So it could be that they copied and pasted it from the thing, and therefore,
And he had the American spelling of humor as well.
yeah. So I don't know. That could be that as well. Excuse me. And yes, Biden's not polling great. He's still polling better than Trump was at this point in time.
Yeah, that's kind of funny how like some people are like saying like, oh, Biden's got low support. It's like, okay, so compared to Trump's and like compared to Biden, like Obama's president, like compare each
every
presidency,
president.
yeah. It's like you go back with each one.
Well, actually, at this point, George Bush was in his like high 80s approval. So that's because September 11th had just happened.
Yeah,
that's the one rare blip in weird polling, or it wasn't weird. It was like 9/11 made America way more conservative than it is. Or it generally is.
Use less than savory language to describe President Biden. And you know what? If Let's Go Brandon attracted a legion of conservatives and Republicans and pro-Trump supporters to Brandon, Manitoba,
it's all the same thing.
Hey, I'm packing my bags and heading west. Minus
oh my
40
god, no!
wind chill
If I were
factors
that mayor,
and mosquitoes be damned. So
does Menzies not know it's already like pretty conservative out there? Like,
yeah, does he not know the demographics?
No, like the only thing that's keeping conservatives out of Brandon, Manitoba is because they haven't yet adopted as their slogan. Let's go, Brandon. That is the only way for them to maintain their conservatism. Only way. Jesus Christ. Reminds me, I had a huge argument with one of my coworkers about how playing can most definitely take down the Twin Towers. How playing? Voice to text is horrible feature, and I wish it would be removed.
Oh dear.
Oh my god.
I've committed to never making my mind up about 9/11. Truth.
I'm definitely like I've mentioned on this channel several times that I used to be a 9/11 truther, and I've also explained that the thing that motivated me out of that community was realizing that they also took Alex Jones seriously, and that that to me was like, and part of it is because they suck you in with the what do they call it, the jacking off, right? So you get a lot of the just asking question type people, and some of the questions you're like, yeah, I don't know fucking engineering. I don't know about the structural integrity of buildings. So you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, and you're like listening and like nodding along, and then they have like documentaries with like people who actually have engineering degrees. So you're like, whoa, this guy has an engineering degree. That clearly means that he probably knows something. I mean, we should know better now that like even people with medical degrees are saying really stupid stuff about vaccines. Today, you know, but
there's educated people with dumb thoughts on stuff. So yeah, it's not. And yeah, it's not always the case, but yeah.
But it really was the fact of like, I was watching that stuff, which has more of an air of credibility. And the same people that presented that information to me eventually showed me some Alex Jones documentaries. And that was the beginning of me realizing that it was all bullshit. Because then I was like, I could understand why you could take these people credible. Alex Jones is clearly just off his fucking rocker.
Yeah, and that was like even back then, like he was out to lunch, but like now it's even worse.
He had some moments in his documentary on 9/11 that was like one of his conspiracy theories was that they actually took everyone off the plane and like execute them off site and then
Oh yeah,
remotely
yeah,
flew the
that one.
airplanes into the buildings. And I was just like,
That's
why? What?
convoluted.
And he has no evidence for this. He just stated that. So that like when you hear that, like as much as my brain was being corrupted by this bullshit, that was just like too far outside the realm of possibility that I was just like, it strained credulity. I was like, and then I started thinking of like, if you're sending me this and that other stuff that I thought was more credible, I'm now starting to doubt the credibility of the other stuff. And I slowly like,
Oh yeah.
I think one of the other big motivating factors of getting out of that group was they also showed so it was a group on the college campus I attended. It was called Students for Social Justice, which is ironic now in hindsight. Uh, Considering that all they did was play conservative documentaries.
Oh dear.
And they were students for social justice,
Social justice warriors?
yeah, exactly. And then so
Yeesh.
one of the videos that they showed was this video. The whole thing, I'm watching it, and I was like at least decently read. I had already read some stuff by Nietzsche and stuff like this, and that's relevant to what I'm going to say. But they showed this documentary that was like psychiatry is bullshit. Don't take psych meds. Don't go to therapists. Just like this whole thing, and they somehow connected it back to the fact that apparently Nietzsche and like Freud were really secret Nazis and were trying to destroy other people by like forcing psychiatry on them. And I'm just like, as someone who's read Nietzsche, this doesn't read right to me. And so we're watching this thing, and then when it gets to the end, it's the best fucking part. It starts playing these horns and this like very like bah, 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 like official music, and then this like CGI thing flips down of this like logo, and it's like the CCH is here to cleanse humanity of the therapist threat, and like, and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? And so like I go Google CCH, and it's the Center Commission for Human Rights, or it's the CCHR, which is a
Good stuff, yeah.
Scientology front organization. And I immediately went to them the next day, and I was like, "You showed us a Scientology propaganda video," and they were,
fuck is this?
and they were like, well, like, why does that matter? Like, what they said was still like, legitimate. I was like, no, it's not legitimate.
No.
It's
That makes it worse.
Scientology. They would like I was always into cults, so I'm just like, they literally have it out against psychiatrists. They think that like they go against the religious tenets. It's not.
Jeez.
And it was just like, oh my god, I gotta get out of this group. What the fuck is wrong with these people?
That was, yeah. Ironically enough, that was your going clear moment.
Yeah, and then it was just like no more. 9/11 truth did not last much longer.
Once one falls and all that. I think going back on like the 9/11 conspiracy theories, like of all of them too, like the main theme, like the main one was like there's explosive that was installed in the building, and like
Yeah.
one of my main thoughts about that's like, okay, well, like you're throwing a plane into a building that's going to structurally damage it, but like, okay, if you're like concerned that like the building's going to stay up even after getting a couple planes thrown, like, well, each plane, whatever, but like my thought was like, why don't you just put the explosives on the planes? That makes it better, right?
Because you gotta cut the bars in order to get the pancake collapse. So you have
Duh.
not watched enough, because like,
Oh yeah.
oddly enough, one of the bits that like really got me kind of convinced like early on was this idea, like when you watch the footage, and it's also like weird going back, like I was young when I was doing this, but when I reflect on it now, there's kind of like a morbid fascination with like how much these people watch the deaths of like thousands of people just over and over again to like.
Oh, geez, yeah.
But there was an element in which, as the building's coming down, you can see below on the floor these like puffs of smoke that like come out like before like the building comes down. And how they describe that is they call these squibs, which
The squibs,
actually
yeah.
occur when a building is controlled demolition, right? Because you're blowing out
Yeah.
the columns,
It's,
and therefore it like collapses. What
yeah,
they
it's
argue,
small
it collapsed
explosives.
on their footprint or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Now, what actually happens as well, and what happened in this case, why there was squibs on these buildings, is because as the building's collapsing, the air pressure is just blowing out the shit.
Yeah, just everything because it's pancaking out. It's like it's a balloon basically. There's air, there's volume to that building, so it's got to go somewhere.
And so it's like, but like, for someone like I don't know any better. I was like a fucking young kid,
Oh yeah, no, it's
leaving my teens. I think I was like 18, 20, like around that age range when I was like digesting this shit. That like I didn't know how to fucking think through it. And so I was like, whoa, that is weird. Why are there squibs? And I didn't have anyone available to point it out to me,
yeah.
Church of Scientology did some weird shit in Canada. Nan McLean is the one story that comes to mind. I'd be interested in that. I am not. I'm well read on Scientology. I'm weird
The American
about
stuff. Yeah, the American stuff tends to be a bit more like Canada. There's some stuff, like mentioned with the Canadian one. It's not, I guess, not brought out as much, which should be.
You're buffering.
I'm buffering. It's not me
so.
again. I think on my end it seems fine, and there's no
Nice
warning. So, I don't know. Usually it tells me when I'm dropping frames. I don't know. I was gonna say with you parental figure stolen. The fireproofing thing is interesting. I believe it's been a while since I've dug into this literature, but I think the conspiracies say that, the conspiracists say that, but I think the evidence showed that like it was the plane hitting the building with such force blew a lot of the insulation off of the steel beams, and hence why it was the structural integrity of the steel started to give. Again, it didn't melt the steel beams because
you don't have to melt it.
You just need to
structurally
heat it enough.
You just need to warm it. Yeah.
And because the fireproofing stuff that they put on the steel beams was supposed to be for internal fires, not for a plane flying into them, they never anticipated the fact that a plane was going to fly in there and blow all the insulation off the steel.
Of course, structure, yeah.
I mean, that's also probably the case as well, Stalin, that there was some other wear and tear. Because I think that was the other thing. Like, there was also parts of the building that were, like, under disrepair because...
Yeah, it's an older building.
Rich people got to cut corners,
Oh, that too, yeah.
Yeah. She left and got classified as an SP. Yeah, that's normal. I called her once in J school, and she thought I was a Scientologist.
Oh, jeez.
Nancy McLean? Why does this name sound familiar to me? Let's watch. I'm gonna watch the last 20 seconds of this video. That's I got sidetracked by the Scientology. Scientology and 9/11 is always gonna get.
Sorry about that. Yeah, that was my fault too.
That's all good.
Please, Mayor, reconsider. After all, it's one thing to look a gift horse in the mouth. It's quite another thing to kick its teeth in. And for all you pinko, lying, liar, phony, baloney Marxists out there who have a problem with Let's Go Brandon, well, why don't you all go fuddle-duddle yourselves? For Rebel News, David the Menzies.
Oh, I've been wrecked. I've been so
wrecked.
Marx
was famously anti-Brandon.
Hello, my rebels. Hello, my rebels. I'm a good boy. I'm a weirdo.